Many Canadians were looking for a champion to step up and oppose anarcho-capitalist Pierre Poilievre and his campaign of cheap slogans, insults, and name-calling. And then came Mark Carney. Today, we're going to talk about one of the hottest topics in Canadian politics, Mark Carney. With all the chatter about him potentially leading the Liberal Party into the 2025 federal elections, many are asking a big question. Is Carney the leader that we need right now? To some, he's a seasoned, steady hand who could guide us through economic turbulence and global uncertainty. For others, he's an untested political outsider with deep ties to the financial world. In this video, we're going to explore his background, his strengths, and the challenges that he's bound to face. So whether you're a staunch liberal, curious skeptic, or just someone who's trying to make sense of it all, stick around and let's break it all down together. To get started, let's have a short look at his background. Mark Carney is best known for his time as the governor of both the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England. He's the first person in history to lead central banks in two different countries, and he did it during some pretty turbulent times, like leading Canada through the 2008 financial crisis, and he was then recruited by England to help them through the Brexit mess. During his tenure at the Bank of Canada, Carney earned a reputation for his steady, pragmatic leadership. He helped steer Canada's economy through one of the worst global recessions in decades. While much of the world was drowning in economic chaos, Canada came out relatively unscathed. Pretty impressive, right? That's what prompted the Bank of England to seek him out to help them through their own crisis caused by exiting the European Union. It's important to note that it was actually Prime Minister Stephen Harper, Conservative Prime Minister Stephen Harper, Pierre Poilievre's longtime mentor, who appointed Mark Carney as the governor of the Bank of Canada in 2008, largely based on Carney's impressive credentials, including his education from Harvard Business School, Oxford University, and his extensive financial background. And Carney's capabilities were seen as huge assets during economically turbulent times. Harper knew that, and it sounds like the times we're going through right now. Canada's political outlook has changed dramatically recently. Just back a few weeks ago, in Christmas 2024, the Liberals were at an all-time low, and Pierre Poilievre was cruising forward and leading dominantly in the polls. And then Justin Trudeau pulled a Joe Biden. He resigned. And much like when Biden resigned, the Liberal Party was revitalized. All of a sudden, all the enthusiasm, all the excitement, it was invigorated. Of course, we all know that all the Harris mania didn't lead to a defeat of Donald Trump in the U.S., but Liberals and many Canadians are hoping that we may have a different outcome here, that Mark Carney can actually mount a strong challenge to Poilievre's lead and end up being elected the Prime Minister. Carney's emergence as a leading contender for the Liberal leadership has left Poilievre and his campaign in disarray. He and his advisors are struggling now to find some way to regain momentum, which they've lost completely with Justin Trudeau stepping aside and facing the potential of an opponent who's not just distanced from the current Liberal government, but is actually viewed as a hero by an awful lot of longtime Conservatives. Shortly after announcing his candidacy for the leadership, Mark Carney appeared on American television on the Jon Stewart show. And wow, was he impressive. Charming, intelligent, reasoned, well-spoken, strength that Canadians have been looking for and have not been able to find in people like Pierre Poilievre. And the polls started almost immediately to reflect that, with a tightening of the race for Canada's prime ministership. Recent polls have shown a number of really interesting developments. Number one, when asked, Canadians said that they believed Mark Carney was the best person of all their choices to deal with Donald Trump and his unprovoked attacks on Canada and our trading relationship. Also, it's come out that if Carney was leading the Liberals, they would be tied in the polls with the Conservatives. That's overcoming an almost 30-point deficit that they had just at the end of the year. So obviously Canadians are pretty intrigued by Mark Carney and interested in what he can do and what he's got to say. Why are so many Canadians considering supporting Mark Carney? First, Carney brings real-world experience outside of the typical political bubble. He's not a career politician like Poilievre or even Jagmeet Singh. His leadership is grounded in economics and global affairs, not party dogma. In a world dealing with inflation, global trade tensions, and economic uncertainty, that experience could be a huge asset. Secondly, Carney is a consensus builder. He's worked across political lines and even has the respect of many conservatives. This could help unite a country that feels more divided than ever. Third, Carney has already laid out his priorities: tackling climate change, boosting economic resilience, and reducing inequality. If people care about those issues, like sustainability and economic fairness, he's positioned himself as a leader who's ready to take action. Okay, now let's look at the flip side. What are the potential downsides? For starters, Carney has no experience in elected office. Sure, he has an impressive resume, but politics is a whole different ballgame. Governing isn't just about knowing policy, it's about building coalitions, managing public perceptions, and winning elections. Can Carney make the transition from technocrat to politician? That's a good question. Then there's his time in the financial world. Some critics see him as too much of an establishment figure, too cozy with the banks and global elites. In an era of populist politics where people are fed up with the system, that could be a liability. And of course, he's going to face constant attacks from Poilievre and the Conservatives. Expect them to paint him as Trudeau 2.0, out of touch with everyday Canadians. Whether or not that sticks remains to be seen. How does Carney stack up against other political leaders? Well, Pierre Poilievre has built his brand on anger and populist rhetoric. Axe the tax and fire Trudeau have been his bread and butter. But now that Trudeau has stepped down, those slogans don't work anymore. And Carney, with his calm and reasoned approach, could be the perfect contrast. As for Jagmeet Singh and the NDP, they're going to be pushing hard on social justice and affordability issues. Carney will have to prove that he's just as committed to economic fairness and social programs as the NDP is. This upcoming election is shaping up to be one of the most important in Canada's recent history. We've got global economic uncertainty, rising populism, and our closest ally, the U.S., led by Donald Trump again. Whoever leads Canada is going to need a steady hand and a clear plan. Mark Carney could be the leader, or he might fall short. Ultimately, it's up to us, the voters, to ask the hard questions. What kind of leadership do we really want for Canada? What vision for the future resonates with us the most? So, tell me, what do you think? Should Canadians support Mark Carney? Is he going to be the leader who takes the Liberals and the country into a brighter future? Or is he not right for this moment? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching and supporting this channel. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please share it with anyone and everyone who's following Canadian politics closely. See you next time. We all know that Canada is a great country. Sure, we've got problems. We've got lots of problems. But don't let the haters get to you. Don't let them destroy the foundation of what we've established in this country. And fellow Canadians, be proud of yourselves. We've accomplished a lot, and we're going to do an awful lot more. Yeah, we got challenges, but we're going to fix them and solve them together. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, give me your comments. I love to read them all. Here's a suggestion of some other videos of mine you may want, and enjoy my content. Thanks a lot. Bye.